All right, um, so it is December. This is where I start playing catch up with a lot of movies that I missed throughout the year, and a lot of things that came out earlier in the year are now available for stream and all that stuff. So I'm going through it. Finally saw Oppenheimer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So I watched this movie called The Haunting of the Queen Mary, right? It's called Haunting. I don't know why I was gonna say the word bloody. Or was it gonna be the Haunting of Bloody Queen Mary or Bloody Mary? Oh my God, I'm stuck in the goddamn urban legends thing. So, um, yeah, it's not good. it's not good at all. This movie is almost 2 hours long, and it's obviously in the horror genre because it's a haunting of insert name here kind of thing. And mostly horror movies, you got to stick to the 90-minute thing, maybe like 110 minutes max. If you go longer, there has to be a reason why this horror film is this long. You know what I mean? Because it's like after a while with horror, you're just like, okay, get up. So so of course it's about the Queen Mary that's like just forever docked in Long Beach, California. And it tries to do this thing. Yeah, and of course I'm obviously going into spoilers. It's a terrible movie. There's no spoilers for who I'm just saying. Who's like, "Oh no, don't no spoilers." Anyway, so this movie's it tries to do that remember that Netflix show that was really good that the guy who did Dark did 1899. It's like tries to do that where like it starts off in like 19 whatever. It starts off in like 1938 or something, and it's like this poor family, and then they go to the rich person meal because it's Halloween, so they wear masks, so they're just like, we're just guessing you're the person kind of thing. And then it keeps kind of going back and forth between back in the day what happened on the Queen Mary, and then currently with this family that's like kind of visiting the Queen Mary because like they're writers slash photographers slash who whatever fuck kind of person, you know, and that like you could go to the Queen Mary for tours and all that shit, like you do, and it's just it's just not well written because I was more interested in like the old stuff, the stuff that was happening in 1938, and I kind of wish the movie was just that because that was a lot more interesting. It was a lot more interesting. You're just like, ooh, what's happening? What caused this guy to what was the thing that made him snap? Because you don't know what made him snap. The dude just snapped and just like killed his wife. And then like on the effect scale, the effect scales are pretty good because like the guy's face was jacked, was gnarly. My only critique with the effects was like the blood was at a couple different levels. You know what I mean? You're hacking the same person, and yet you have blood that's splashed on the wall that's like the dark red, but then some of it around is the orange blood, and then some of it is like the dark, almost black blood. That's just me being that person, being that effects person. Like, you know, it's not right, and I'm gonna be like Dexter right now about like blood and stuff. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, it's like you want to know like what caused him to like go off like that because he literally just like went off. Unless this movie told me and I didn't know. And mind you, I had to rewind like 2 to 3 times because I would like watch and then I'm just like, either it's like, wait, did I have like an ADD moment? Even though I have ADD, but like, did I have like a moment where like I just my brain wandered off and I missed something? Was it one of the like David Lynch things that if you didn't fully pay attention for like an extra 2 seconds, like you missed the whole like we went into the zone and back out, and that's the twist of the movie? No, there's a lot of like this lot of writing issues. Like the foundation is that there's a lot of writing issues that going back and forth between again present time and back in the day because they're supposed to correlate but they don't correlate well. Like they don't do the thing where, like I said in the show, the 1899 show, where they kind of bounce between years and stuff. I mean, also that has like some time traveling in it because again, it's by the guy who does Dark, so there's a lot more like you got a Pepe Sylvia more of it. You know what I mean? So let's pull that over there as too good of an example. But like there's an episode of The X Files. I don't know if it was on the Queen Mary, but it was something like that where they got on a boat, which probably was a Queen Mary, and there's at one point where there was like, old like flapper 1920s Scully and then current Scully, and then you see like the two, it was like a split screen, and they kind of run over like each other's like thing, and they kind of were like, what? Like they ran past each other but didn't know. Like, and like that did it really well. But also again, like the X Files was always really well written, no matter how weird and stuff it got, But this one, like, when something would be like interesting would be happening in the past, and you're like, ooh, ooh, and suddenly you'll just bounce back to the present, and it's like the mom just like, I don't know what's going on, and it's like, well, we don't need to see that because I was interested, you know. Um, yeah, so I guess I'll just kind of go through the synopsis thing as I normally do. So like the movie starts off, like I said, back in 1938, and the couple, like the family is going to, like I said before, doing the rich person, I guess first class whatever dinner. They got a mask on, they got a kid, and the little kid is like, I want to be a star one day, kind of thing. Apparently you later learn that Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers are in one of the tables. You're like, sure, and then there's like a little dance number, and the little girl like does the dance number, and you're like, okay, fine, people just do dance numbers here and there. So that happens, and you're just like, okay, there's that. So you get that kind of foundation, and you know that they're scheming, and you're like, okay, cool, rob from the rich, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's see what we're doing with this. But then you cut to the present time, and it's that lady that was in that one Star Trek movie where she was just suddenly in her underwear out of nowhere, and we're all like, what was that about? And she has like a son who has like dwarfism, and then her husband or baby daddy or whatever, who is he was in the Cruella movie. He's also in Our Flag Means Death. I also sometimes, my brain thinks he's the backup singer guitarist, one of the ghouls from Ghost. I just think I'm like, wait, is that Jutty? No, that's not Jutty. But anyway, so um so then you got like, oh, in the past there's a husband, wife, and a kid, and in the present there's husband, wife, and kid, because that doesn't exist outside of that. That like somehow they're the couple. There's no other couples that are like that going on this tour on the fucking Queen Mary. But anyway, they get to the ship and all that stuff, and the son has like, like a film camera and is taking pictures, and the dad is not being a good dad because the mom is trying to meet with peoples and trying to like spend time or getting like special tours of the Queen Mary because she's trying to write. She's a writer because she does the writing stuff. And then the dad's doing the tour thing, but he's not looking after his son, especially his son who has dwarfism. He's just like walking ahead, and his kid who's like walking, like 2 steps a year is like, taking pictures. And again, he's not being a good dad. He's not paying attention to his little shit. And then the kid, who's just kind of like a kid, which you don't really know how old he is, especially with the dwarfism. Like, you're guessing he's probably, I don't fucking, I'm just gonna say 10. Because the kid wanted like a coffee thing, and then they were like, we can't give a child coffee. And I was like, all right, I don't know. I'm just gonna say 10. I don't know how old this dude is. I think I might have looked on IMDb, and I think it said that he was born in like 2009. You know what I mean? But let's just say 10, So, anyway, so somehow, like, the tour goes there, but then the kid wanders off because that's what happens in these movies. And the kid wanders off and then sees the kid from the past. And you're like, how? Who? What? Tries to take a picture. Oh my God, stuff. Boo, boo. And he ends up at, like, the pool, which, like, has probably ankle deep water in it. And then he somehow gets, like, pushed over, like, the pool thing, almost into the pool, but the camera, like, like holds him in place. The camera's like taking pictures, and I think it's like the dad from the past doing that, like evil stuff. And you're kind of like, okay, like, what is, like, where are we going with this? So so like, what happened? And then and then it flashes back to in the past where they're just kind of like the family's at that dinner again, and then they're just kind of like, let's not be obvious, like, let's not like be obvious that we're not supposed to be here, but then they're being like really obvious about being there, kind of stuff. And then again it flashes back to current time, and then the son somehow, he was like, he also falls into the water because like someone from the water like pulls him down in the water. But anyway, it just cuts back to the present time, and it does like the Edgar Wright quick cut thing where it's like, coffee's being like grinded down, poured into a cup, whipped cream, and the kid's walking like with the coffee thing, and he's soaking wet, and then the dad's like, oh no, I just like, looked away for a second, and it's kind of like, yeah, but he's soaking wet. Also, it doesn't explain to you, like, did the dad pull him out of the water? How did he get out of the water? So they were like, the mom was like, he seems traumatized. Like, what? Like, you're not telling me certain things. Again, you don't have to tell me everything, but it's just that he just showed back up, like, to his dad. Like, if you're on a tour thingy and a kid goes missing that you're unaware of, but suddenly the kid shows back up and is like, covered in water, wouldn't that kind of like stop everything? Like a thing like that, they would probably lock the place down. Because then something like the kid got harmed or something, and they have to like interview all the guests or review security footage or something. But instead, they're just like, we're gonna continue on our day, go happy tours, like what the fuck. So that happens, and then like the captain of the ship, who obviously is like there for whatever nefarious reasons, because you definitely can't trust him. You can already tell. And he's trying to like talk to the mom because she's trying to be like, I'm trying to write this book about the blah, 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 blah. And he's just kind of like, you feel like he touches people. I don't know. He just has that kind of Mr. McFeely kind of thing. So anyway, so the then they were told like, hey, you can go on. Like we're having maintenance this weekend, so you can actually have the entire ship to yourself. Which I was like, wow, like you just give that to someone, um, and you can have the whole ship to yourself. There's no tours or anything happening there. The thing is closed, yada yada yada, all that stuff, and you can like do your research. And then it kind of goes into like this like the Shining kind of feel of it, because then you're in a big like obvious like old haunted thing all by your lonesome with your family, and then like the mom is saying how like, oh, she contacted like her mother, who she doesn't like, to take care of her son. And then it does this because like, oh yeah, because then you see like the mom has like a bandage on her hand, and you're like, what? And then it goes into black and white and shows what previously happened on Dragon Ball Z, and it's like the son running away like out the window being like, I don't want to go back, mom. And the mom's like, you have to. And then the kid slams like the fucking window on her hand. And as someone who, smashed their hand, yeah, her hand was fucked. Her thing was fucking bruised. Mine was pretty bruised. There's still like a bump here. I smashed it between two crates at work, so that's great. The corner of a crate went right at the bump. It's like I was pulling a crate, and then there was a crate here, and I didn't see it, and I just went right into it. And then I had this big old egg in my hand. But like her, she had like a full like that lady had like this whole thing going on. But anyway, but also she's like tiny, so I can see how like her shit could just grow much larger than mine. But anyway, so you kind of see that, and you're like, okay, that's already sus. So then it's just the couple in the fucking ship the entire time. And the husband's like, I'm gonna go to a vending machine. And then he does the thing where he like reaches his hand into the vending machine, and I'm like, oh Jesus fucking Christ. I said this in my freaking Bloody Mary like watch, but I didn't put it in the final edit. But it's always like people are reaching in for the thing, and it's like there's also stuff below. Just if you're gonna do that, just don't aim high for once in your life. Just grab that. Like they're always just like, want to go all the way to like the top to get the Doritos. I'm like, nah, man, get the gum that's at the bottom. So, and then yeah, the mom puts on like a thing on her phone, like a meditative thing or whatever. And then like her phone like cracks, and there's like a hand that comes through it. And it's like very like Grudge kind of stuff. And this movie is all over the place. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know who it is. Um, and so yeah, so that happens, and like he comes back. She's like, there's blood. You shatter the glass, and her phone's fucked up, and all that stuff. And then like, and again, it keeps bouncing back to the past. And in the past, it's like the wife is like in the past, the wife and the husband seem to like not be agreeing, but there's no like, they don't say what's wrong, and there's no like good hints. It's just like, we're not getting along. And then he just starts threatening her, and then she hides in the shower, and then he like axes her like a bajillion times. And then some people see it, and they're like, hey. And then he goes after them, which I thought was funny because he like kills her. Then he comes out, and there's like 4 people standing in a line, like, bro, what the fuck? And he comes after them, and they're all like, whoo, 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 like trying to run away. And he ends up axing all of them. I'm just saying, like, someone with an axe Obviously I would probably, in a crazy situation, not that I would approach someone with an axe, but in a crazy situation, I obviously would approach someone with like a knife or an axe closer than obviously with a firearm, right? Because they have to come towards you to hit you. But I love how he's walking to them with the axe and everyone's just like, what do we do? How do we walk away? Like, run, dude. That thing is heavy. It's good. Just run. Just run. Just run, but they all got axed up and all that shit. Again, good blood effects. And they all die. And because there was like this weird, like, flashback kind of thing earlier in the movie, you're like, oh, that's where those bodies came from. And there's, again, and then like the music number happens. You're still just like not understanding, like, what am I supposed to get from this movie? Like, right, there was a murder that happened, and then like it's haunting this family. Okay, but again, what is the end goal when it comes to these haunts kind of stuff, and then like the wife and husband are just like not feeling it. Oh, they finally find the camera. They're like, wow, you used the whole roll. We'll put it in our pocket and we'll develop it later, because of course it's film, of course it's not digital, so they can see the photos right away to be like, yo, this place is fucked up. Of course, the plot said so. And then like the movie pretty much just like it just like after that, it just like it's mind you, this takes so long to get to all these points, and then finally, the weekend is over, the ship is back open, people are piling in, they're leaving, and they're looking at the captain guy and being like, well, we've called the cops, so like, we know what you're up to. And it's like, okay. And then they get down to like the dock, and then cops come and then they arrest the parents, and it's like, all right, because when that black and white flashback about the son running away, well, the son didn't run away, the mom actually closed the thing on the son's hand, and the son fell and died and all that stuff. And it's like, wow, couldn't have seen that, come in a mile of fucking way. Like, wow, I didn't know that was gonna happen. She probably just like then slammed her hand on the thing, because the neighbor saw it. um Sometimes it's good to have nosy neighbors, other times they end up calling six fucking cops on you when you try to enter your own fucking home on a Monday afternoon, you know um yeah, so it's not a good movie, obviously. Like I said, 2 hours is too long. So much of it could have been cut out. So much of it could have been better written, and also the editing of it when it goes from like the past to the present, like this back and forth stuff, because it doesn't really correlate as much as it thinks it's trying to correlate. It just kind of goes, well, this happened, then okay, then this happens, and then it's kind of like, and it just kind of goes back, and you're like, oh, okay, we're just continuing on with the dinner. Okay. Anyway, so this is happening. Oh, what? Okay. Like the kids. Okay. Oh, anyway, so we left, and then our kid is still in there talking to Fred Astaire. Okay, well, what's gonna happen? Oh, I think something well is going. Oh, well, anyway, so we're staying here for the weekend, and you're like, huh? And I feel like the fact that they had to show that like black and white thing of like the kid running away, it really, God, gave up like the game even more, because it's like you didn't have to, and like the hand thing, like, again, it made it more sus. You know what I mean? Like, it just made it more sus than trying to be like, it just was not, it was not good, it was not good, it was not good. Like, me explaining this doesn't make sense because that's exactly what the movie was. And of course it's trying to say that the people possess, like the dead mom possessed the current mom, and that the dad, like, what I mean, is like possessed by the like the other dad. Because then when they were at the gift shop, they bought like a plaque with the picture of like the little kid dancing with Fred Astaire, and of course the dad was like, yeah, let's buy it, reaches for a 10. I saw it looked like a 10. In that plaque thing, it's not a 10. When in a gift shop, that's like 50. He buys it with 10. Also doesn't realize the roll of film with the tissue in his pocket gets thrown away. How do you not like a roll of tissue like this, and you don't feel a fucking roll of film inside? Weirdo. They throw it out. No one cares to see a roll of film being thrown out. I'd be the weird, curious Andy and pick it up, but that's just me. Um, But yeah, so like that just like the movie just ends like that, and I was just like, God. And like I said, I had to rewind. So the first time I did it was when they got to the ship for the weekend, da da da, and like the hand is coming through the phone, and I was like, wait, what? And I had to I literally kind of started from the beginning and just fast forward to be like, okay, yeah, yeah, I got it, got it. Okay, this is where it's starting to lose itself. Okay, okay, okay. And we're back on the ship. Okay. And then the other time, God, where was I? I was about, I think, like, there's a quarter left or a third of the left. Blah, blah, blah. There's a chunk like this much of the movie left, and I had to go back to like the middle of it or something. Like it was something I think had to do. Again, it's mostly the current timeline, the present day timeline that I was confused with, and I had to go back to, because the past timeline. That's the part where I think they like had better like writing and better like thought planned for that one, because again that was the more interesting part of it. But again, like they didn't explain why he killed them. It's just that he did. That he schemes. Okay, he's got a fucked up face. Okay, but like why? Why did you kill your wife? Why did you kill the rich people? Like again, if it was somehow explained in the movie, I missed it. Rewinding it several times. So it's one of those like you could say I didn't pay attention to the movie, or it could just be poorly done, you know? But yeah, like the movie ends, so you're like, okay, the kid's dead, awesome. And of course both parents, you know, get arrested for murder. You see the mom, but you don't see like the dad in the end, because they go into separate cars. Because I think the mom goes into the cop car and the dad goes into more of like the undercover cop, or the more like detective, I guess, because they were in like regular suits and police uniforms. But yeah, like it's just not good. It's not good. It is really bad. It's really bad. And it's not even like the fun bad. You know what I mean? We're just like, ah, sweet. Let me just put this on, kind of thing. Not like, the fun, like early 2000s, 2010, movies I like to watch where I'm like, this is bad. This is great. I'll just go put it on, hour and a half goes by. Cool. Watched it. It's done. Pretty cool effects. Moving on. This was just like, again, I'm like, I'm not dumb. It was just like, I don't, it's you can't really say it's hard to follow. There is nothing to follow. It just anyway. I just keep repeating myself now, but anyway. So yeah, that was the haunting of Queen Mary and stuff, and that's cool. I mean, I don't know. Maybe one of these days when I go to California, I'll take a trip to go see it. But I don't. I don't mean, it's a boat. It's a boat. Oh God.